Okay, against official managerial advice here at Sky News, I reluctantly bring in our Sunday night panel, Prue McSween, Senator Holly Hughes and Richo. Welcome one and all.
Hi, Smithy. Hi, everyone.
Hey everyone, good evening.
You're well, Richo?
Good evening.
Yeah, good to hear from you, Richo. I'm going to get to you because we're going to talk about something that you and I have spoken about off air that is annoying us both big time. We'll get to that shortly. But have you three enjoyed today's gold rush? Prue, how good has it been?
Oh, hasn't it restored your faith in Australia and Australians? You know, we've all been so down in the tooth and, just so depressed and also worried about our national character. Have we lost our character with all these people protesting? You know, we're a country where we always, when people are in trouble, we dig deep and we help each other. And for some reason, we're not. We're against each other now, and it's really terrible. But this is giving us hope and joy. So we should be so proud.
Yeah, those swimmers are something else, and it really makes you so incredibly admiring of their hard work, Holly.
Oh, it's just been so heartening to see. I was really lucky today. I have a mutual friend of the McEwens, so I was able to send the family a message and have some texts with Emma's brother and just pass on my congratulations and what a fantastic achievement it is. I mean, if Emma was a country, I think she'd be coming something like 12th in the medal count. She's just extraordinary. And I mean, I watched the men's hockey today, the Kookaburras. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what was going on, but I couldn't believe it at all, and we got a semi-final berth and I'll be watching that. I mean, it's just fantastic. I'm almost sad it's my last day in ISO because now I can leave the apartment rather than being glued to the Olympics. But it's just been fantastic. And whether it's sailing, I mean, the athletics, Rowan, I'm sure I'll know his surname by the end of tonight.
Rowan Browning.
Rowan Browning. I mean, how good was his 100 metres?
Incredible.
Liz Clare is in the hurdles, 100-metre semi-finals tonight. She's an old Loretto girl like I am, so we'll all be watching her and cheering her on later tonight. It's everywhere, whether it's, on the track, field, pool, out in the sailing, the rowing. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Richo, you're a sports nut. What's been your highlight?
Oh, you can't go past Emma McKeon, can you?
No.
What a sensation she's been. And I'm starting a campaign to make her Australian of the Year. If the criterion for becoming Australian of the Year is inspiring donation, I don't know anyone who has inspired us more in the last 12 months than her.
Such humility. Such humility. All right, business groups are saying, well, from all quarters at the moment over the weekend, that there's a major movement in workplaces to allow staff back into the office, but they had better have the double jab. Now, this is a major conversation going on in the United States at the moment as well. Mandatory jabs in workplaces. Prue, would you do it to your staff?
Yes, I would. As an employer, I'm responsible, for the occupational health and safety of my employees.
Yep.
If I'm putting some at risk, then it will backfire. And I think this is very important that and particularly in some industries where they're interfacing with, vulnerable people. Well, these days, anybody's a vulnerable person, it seems, with Delta. But I just think we have to take a stand, and I certainly would be implementing it.
What's going to be more difficult, Holly, getting federal and state public servants to toe the line here? Or I guess it'll be a lot easier in private enterprise?
Look, of course, these sorts of things usually are easier in private enterprise. They have the ability to mandate things over staff. I mean, of course, we'll have the Public Service Union, no doubt, coming out and saying what their thoughts are around mandatory vaccinations. Prue's right, when you do have an obligation to your staff and a safe workplace. I think where it's going to be interesting, though, is when we start to see restaurants, cinemas, those sort of service-based businesses that are not only mandating it for staff, but mandating it for customers. And that's where I think we're going to see potentially these anti-vaxxers lose their mind a little bit. But, businesses have the right to decide who they give entry to. And they may feel much more comfortable knowing that they've got customers sitting next to each other in confined spaces or indoor spaces, knowing that people have all been vaccinated. So these sorts of things, I think, are conversations that are going to continue. I think they will ensure that we can open up once we start to see those numbers of double vaccinations. And I think they're going to start to increase exponentially after those numbers that people have had that first jab now, once they get to that second one. But we do need to provide a benefit as well for people that have had the double vaccination, because at the moment, aside from the fact you won't die, you know, a lot of people are sort of, well, I've got no more freedoms than anybody else.
Correct. What's in it for me? Exactly. What's in it for me? Now, look, Richo, I know this is a bugbear of yours because you've seen things firsthand. It's a bugbear of mine because on my radio program this morning, I was inundated by callers who were saying, I can't stand the fact that we're in a hotspot and the neighbours 3 doors up have had carloads of family turn up for dinner every night during the week, but I don't want to do anything about it. I'm too scared to get in trouble. They know where I live. There's a lack of compliance in Sydney, not just in central Sydney, but also in those hotspots. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. I mean, here in Dover Heights, there's certainly a movement away from observing the rules. I've been able to sit here and watch people who are living around me break the rules and break them brazenly. No problem at all for them. It's as if some people around here think the rules don't apply to them. I think it's an outrage, and I haven't put any to the police, but gee, I'm getting to the stage with one family where I may well, because it's becoming a joke. It's ridiculous. It's a sick joke.
Especially, Prue, when the majority of us are trying to do the right thing because we want to get rid of these stupid lockdowns and move on and have a bit of freedom, right?
Yeah, you know, people are just, I don't know, going absurd with this, you know, my right, my liberty is being taken away. What about the rights of the people who you're infecting? You know, we all want to get out of this. Where is your national pride? Where is your brain that is going to tell you, hopefully, that we need to all get vaccinated. We need to get out of this so that we can get on and be in an Australia that we love and know. And I just think it's the most selfish act. And, you know, we are all, you know, smart asses. We all know better. That's the Australian psyche. We hate being told what to do. But in this case, use your brain and realise that you have to get vaccinated if you want us to get back to a normal Australian life.
Holly Hughes, I want to put this to you. It was a big call for the New South Wales government to take away Pfizer doses from parts of rural Australia. As a former bushie, you could imagine they would say, well, hang on a minute, surely we should be treated equally. However, to give the kids who are in Year 12 a jab, who live in those hotspots, and give them a chance at sitting for exams in empty schools, it is worth the controversy, is it not?
Look, I think so, but we're also back to this absolutely ridiculous, I can't get a Pfizer, so I'm not getting vaccinated. There's plenty of AstraZeneca. I noticed Joel Fitzgibbon up in Newcastle having a whinge today because his Pfizer appointment had been cancelled. But then I noticed on Twitter 2 hours later he'd managed to get an AstraZeneca. So it's this ridiculous notion of brand shopping, of vaccine shopping. Now, if you want to get a Pfizer, sometimes, I'm really sorry, tough. We make AstraZeneca here. The condition, the risks around it and all of those sorts of things are known. There's been, you know, some studies that the Pfizer's just as likely to cause clots potentially.
The Spanish research out this week showed that Pfizer led to as many clots, an infinitesimal number of blood clots, but the same amount of blood clots roughly as AstraZeneca. People need to consume that. I think you're entirely right. I want to ask you one question, Richo. Don't the kids deserve some priority as well?
They deserve absolute priority. I mean, whether or not it's the right thing or the wrong thing, if you don't do well in your HSC, it can sometimes affect your entire life. And certainly every kid thinks that. Every kid doing the exam thinks this is the be-all and end-all. If I don't do well here, I'm in all sorts of strife. Imagine the pressure on the poor buggers at the moment. I really think we've got to give them as much of a hand as we can.
Yeah, congratulations to the Education Department and the Premier of New South Wales. One last topic, and it concerns what this week may bring. Federal Parliament resumes on Tuesday, with only 2/3 attending, so the papers are saying today. Prue, what kind of pressure and attention do you think the Prime Minister will be at the centre of?
Oh, they're going to come out all guns blazing for him. And he's in such a pickle. When you think about it, his fate at the next election is in the hands of most of the Labor premiers. They can decide whether they're going to continue lockdowns. He can have as many roadmaps as he wants. But if they want to make sure that he wears all of the disaster that, we're going through now, taking the rap, that in fact, we know he's not responsible entirely for. He certainly hasn't done a great job with the timing of the vaccination, but, and the quarantining needs to be fixed. But in the end, the health matters are the responsibility of the states. And the states can dictate all of the lockdowns, the vaccinations, the works. And sadly, I think that Labor will use it as a political ploy to make sure that he's wearing egg on his face right through to the next election.
OK, I don't think it's one-way traffic, though. Holly,
hang on. Wait a minute. I object to that. I really object to that. There is no way in the world that Labor premiers are going to put the health of people second to some political game they want to play. This is a serious business,
oh my God,
and those Labor premiers are serious people, and they will be making sure that the citizens in their state have got as much protection as possible. That's their job, and they'll do it.
And of course, they're more protecting their own backsides because they want to make sure they have the power to stay in and be re-elected. Where you see politicians playing politics and not putting the nation before their interests all the time, it's what politicians do. And you think your Labor buddies are not going to do that? They love the power they've got, and they will want to make sure that they skew.
Well, I've watched your Liberal buddies doing it already.
Hey, Richo, what about Albo? Can I just raise this? It shouldn't be one-way traffic. Albo's just dropped and kiboshed most of the ALP policy from the last election. He deserves some scrutiny during this parliamentary session, doesn't he?
Well, first off, thank God he did that. I don't think we want to lose too many elections in a row on the same set of dud policies, so good on him. Good on him.
That's right. So many principles.
To see what the new policies are.
Management warned me about getting you three up tonight. See, the more you're in lockdown, the more this just turns out like that. Holly
last day.
Richo, it is last day for you. Great.
I'll see you from the studio next week. I'm so excited. Not only
you think, Prue McSween, thank you very much. Have a great week ahead.
Thanks, Smithy. Bye, guys.
See you guys.